Hi guys, and welcome back. Today I'm going to be speaking on actually compartments for actual moving people. Hey, but first of all, I just want to let you guys know that don't try this. It's uh, it's actually very very low paying for what the risks are, and there's a lot of overhead in these types of operations. So as the more people are involved, the less money is actually being divided up. So remember, if you think you're in a bad spot now, wait till you get caught and you will have to do the time and do the pay the fines. So just remember that you're going to be worse off than what you started with, and in no way am I giving any ideas or even giving any kind of plans to actually conduct this type of illegal operation. You know, all this information is I've seen it on multiple documentaries, both on the internet and on TV. So let's get right to it. Okay, so basically, some vehicles are actually outfitted with natural stock compartments, and how that happens is, especially in your late models, you some trucks actually had an extra tank of gas in the back seat. That could be one. Also, like underneath your seat, like when you have power power seats, when you have a heater involved, actual a cooler involved for your leather seats in such cases. Well, that actual frame's already been built, and it has to be built with that natural compartment for that actual mechanism. So if even if you don't have natural, even if you have cloth seats, you still have that dip in the frame that the actual mechanism was actually installed right in that actual area. So that's just a couple of examples how vehicles have that actual stock, and it's actually pretty. It's not that big of a space, and the conditions that are actually put upon these actual immigrants that are actually coming across, it's pretty painful, and it's pretty. If you're claustrophobic, you won't be able to make it through there, and some people aren't, and they're just actually given a serum and so they can rest, and their heart rate can actually calm down, and they won't actually freak out at midway, which some do. It happens quite often, and there's no stopping them from actually screaming and actually asking for help because of the fact that they can't take it anymore. The heat, the smog, all that comes into play, and it's very it's harsh. It's very harsh. And on that same note, there are special compartments that are actually constructed for the purpose of the actual for one person, and you can see that on that yellow truck. That actual spot will be hollowed out, and a person could actually be just slide in there. And some of these vehicles are actually pretty successful as long as they don't break character, as long as they don't break their schedule, their actual the days that they cross, as long as they keep to a schedule, it's a working horse for them. But 1% at a time. But hey, why get greedy, right? And then other ones actually under the seats. It's another one where they actually add a couple of washers to the actual bolts and just raise it up just enough so you can actually get somebody's actually for the chest to breathe out through the process of actually waiting for the line and crossing. And sometimes that line can be up to 4 to 6 hours. So depend on the actual the duration of the cross. That's when you actually have the actual. That's when they execute their actual their mission, and they're pretty accurate on calculating how long it's going to take for them to actually cross the border too. And if they once they try to actually come in with actually paperwork with a picture of yourself and fake paperwork, that used to be very efficient too, for the fact that them documents were actually real. They were actually printed by the U.S. government and somehow ended up in the hands of other organizations, but that was a reality. And they had also when you borrow somebody's passport or something that you think you look like them, There'd be some inspectors that don't even have to look at your picture, that just straight off your earlobe, they would actually detect just by your ears. And they're actually pretty good at the time. They were actually very, very efficient too, better than any kind of computer, to actually facial recognition. And then also don't forget, they have hours to plan. We have seconds to detect. So that's the actual that's the actual reality of it too. And when I got towards the mountain, actually transporting these actual immigrants that were getting caught down in rural areas, you get to see a different picture of the actual of the scheme of things, because the majority of them already have a farm to go work at. Uh, Nobody actually wants to do the jobs that they're actually doing for the fact that they're really dirty. And I understand that immigrants have really lowered some actual wage for example, like construction. They really lowered that wage for the rest of the actual industry. But at the same time, they're being taken advantage by that same employer that would have employed that first person. If they had documents to pay them at a higher wage, it would have. So either way. If you look at it at either side, it's not a good side for anybody. And but again, some jobs don't want to be done by Americans, and some jobs are actually filled by immigrants willing to do it. Unfortunately, and it's not cheap crossing either, and it's actually it's a it's a lengthy process for somebody to actually pay off their debt to their family about regarding paying them for the actual jump across. And like I said, there's a lot of overhead, there's a lot of actual and people involved, a lot of steps that need to be actually uh, paid. So that's why it's actually very, very expensive. And it's unfortunate that I have to, that it's like this, but certain nationalities are going to pay up to double to triple the amount to jump that line. Unfortunately, they will pay the double or the triple. That's just the way it is. And that's just a little example of actually of how they're brought across, and how the natural compartments come to be. Okay, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks.